Welcome to Our Devil. Today we are taking a look at r/am I the antagonist. Our first story is from Throra Megan 11. Am I the antagonist for refusing to share my bed with my brother-in-law even though his kids were sleeping in it? My female 30 sister female 35 passed away 2 months ago. She has 2 kids, 3 and 5, and I help take care of them by either visiting brother-in-law's house or have them come over to mine. Days ago, brother-in-law left the kids with me for the day, then called in the evening asking if I could have them stay with me for the night. I of course agreed. The kids and I fell asleep while we were reading a story, and then at 1 a.m. I woke up to some noise. I opened my eyes and saw my brother-in-law slowly claiming in bed. I freaked out asking what he was doing. He tried to calm me down, then said that he saw the kids were with me and wanted to join us. This did not sit right with me. I was confused. I asked how he thought this was an appropriate thing to do, and he again said that his kids were there so he didn't think I'd mind him being with them. I felt extremely uncomfortable. I got up and asked him to please leave the room, but he objected, saying, "I can't keep him away from his kids." I told him that I'd have the kids join him in a minute. He eventually walked out. He had the kids get dressed and took them home after calling what I did unnecessarily cruel and rude. Next day I tried to call to check on the kids, but he was still upset, saying they were asleep after I interrupted their sleep by refusing to let him join us in bed. I hung up and felt so many things all at once. I told my mom and she said I had to apologize for how I behaved towards my grieving brother-in-law. Am I the antagonist for saying no? Comment by Dwells 2301. Not the antagonist, and what is wrong with your mom to think otherwise? Comment by Aya B90. Not the antagonist at all. You handled it as you should have. In no world is this normal. Not at all. He was way out of line. Just because his kids are on your bed, which you consented to. He shouldn't have got on the bed, without your consent, since you're on it, and that too. Asleep. The fact that he said, "Can't keep him away from the kids," and called you rude and cruel, and blamed you the next day for not letting him on the bed gives you all the answers you need. He was way out of line, and I'd suggest to always be aware of this guy's intentions as long as you guys are in touch. Edit. Also, if you read this, disregard anyone who says you need to apologize or saying you reacted harshly. There's nothing normal about what he did. Kids or no kids in between. Guilt tripped you. He is an antagonist. Comment by MXO212. Not the antagonist. This is not okay. Grief makes people do strange things. But the second you said no, it should have been respected. This is extremely creepy. Our next story is from EBB Apprehensive 1470. Am I the antagonist for telling my daughter that her grades are more important than her pain right now? Preface. If I come off as callous, it's because I'm trying to be succinct. I, 46 female, have a 16-year-old daughter. In July, she was in a car accident. Most of her injuries were mild. She went to the hospital, but they let her go home after a few days of observation. But even after we got home, she still complained a lot about pain. I was concerned and took her to our GP, but they couldn't find anything wrong. I told her it was probably in her head and in response to the traumatic event, and that she'd be fine in a few days. She stopped complaining about it after that, and everything seemed good. Fast forward to yesterday, and I got an email from her teacher that she's constantly despondent in class and laying her head down and not participating. I was already seeing red from that, and I decided to check on her grades. She turned in multiple assignments late and lost points on them, which is not at all on par with her typical performance. I confronted her about it, and she was really quiet at first. Like she didn't know what to say. I pushed her on it, and she started talking about pain again, which I frankly think is bullshit. She hasn't said a peep about it for 2 months. Only when her grades are slipping. We started arguing about it, and I said that her grades matter more than her pain. She's a junior this year. It is not the time to be slacking. She's been in her room since, refusing to talk to anyone. She wouldn't even go to school today. I'm at a loss. She's never been so difficult. And I'm questioning whether or not I'm in the right here. Am I the antagonist? Edit. I get it. I'm an awful person. I wasn't seeing past the grades, and I treated my daughter horribly. Thank you especially to the medical professionals who replied. I had no idea this could be so serious. I've already booked a specialist for 2 weeks from now, earliest appointment, and apologized to my daughter. I know I still have a lot of making up to do. We're going out for ice cream. Comment by MME Homebody. You are the antagonist. Whether her pain is something undiagnosed physically or mentally. Her pain is preventing her from doing what's necessary to get the grades. True story. I spent years having pain and numbness in my hands and leg. To the point I could no longer work as a nurse. I had a full medical and psychiatric workup and had to change careers. The consensus was that I was malingering. Fast forward a couple years of coping with the physical disability plus what people thought. I pick up a file folder. Hear a snap. And next thing I know I'm in a trauma room being prepped for emergency surgery. A neurologist failed to communicate my original CT results to the proper department. I had a degenerated disc in my neck that finally snapped and compressed my cervical spine. Yeah. Not crazy after all. Give your daughter the benefit of the doubt. If she's been a good student before. She's still a good student who's coping with a traumatic event and has something going on that's interfering with her schoolwork. She can't just snap out of it because you harass her. Whether her pain is physical or psychiatric, or both, it needs to be addressed and treated. She's not going to destroy her entire future by at worst repeating 1 year of school. If you care about her, you'll stop trying to diagnose her yourself and insist that she gets the treatment she needs. Think carefully about how this sounds. Read it out loud. Her grades matter more than her pain. Is that really how you feel about her? You may change your mind when you think about it. Comment by Viridian 152. You are the antagonist. Holy shit. Your daughter stopped talking about her pain to you because you do nothing but make her worse. By invalidating her and blaming her. She turned in assignments late. She didn't just decide to skip school all of a sudden. She's clearly trying her best but is absolutely exhausted because pain is exhausting. Trying to figure out what's wrong with you is exhausting. Being disbelieved by people who are supposed to be in your corner is exhausting. Hiding your pain from antagonists is exhausting. And being a teenager is already exhausting enough normally. You asked her why she was slipping in school. She answered you honestly. And you punished her for it. Try believing your daughter. And keep trying more doctors. Until you get to the bottom of the pain. If you keep on this route, she'll probably start self-medicating before she's 18. Either to try and cope with the pain. Or the emotional turmoil you're putting her through. Or something to keep her up during classes. You and her pain have teamed up to push her towards the edge of a cliff. But she hasn't fallen off yet. She's still trying. Support her. Listen to her. So she doesn't fall. Comment by Embarrassed 9719. Holy crap, get that child to a doctor. And even if it is, in her head, it's something that needs to be treated. If the medical doctors can't find anything, get second and third opinions and also a therapist because something is not right here. You are the antagonist. Something is wrong. She needs help. Not berating. She didn't tell you about her pain because you minimized it. Our next story is from Throwaway 990287. Am I the antagonist for telling my stepdad that I'll eat whatever I want in this house because I'm paying for it in front of my stepsisters? I'm 20 male, currently living with my mom full-time since my dad is working out of the country. She has a husband and he has 2 daughters from a previous marriage, 12 female and 14 female, and my half-sibling, 6 male. My mom's husband is unemployed because he was abruptly terminated. Both of them do gigs here and there while he looks for a job, but they barely bring money to the house. I'm in my 2nd year of uni. While working and getting money from my dad. Every month. I've been paying for most of my stuff, clothes, hobbies, phone bill, etc. Ever since I was 16, and when I turned 18 I began to pay rent and for my car. My mom's husband and his daughters are big eaters. I don't mind. I just started to buy my own groceries and they knew they weren't allowed to have any, though. I'd let my stepsisters take some of my snacks because I get their kids. But ever since 3 or 4 months ago, my mom has been asking me to buy this, buy that, buy this again, and I've been doing their groceries too. So I'm basically paying for all of the food. Plus rent. Plus driving my stepsister to and from school and among other things. Yesterday we were having dinner together and I remembered I'd bought a watermelon a few days ago. It was almost all gone. But I could eat the last of it and it was okay. My stepsister said she wanted some too and I said there was barely anything left and she could have an apple of something. She said she wanted watermelon and I said sorry. My mom's husband said kids go first, but I said kids have been eating watermelon for the past days and it was my turn. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Put it back. Son. You can eat something else," so I just said I'll be eating whatever I want because I was paying for it. Nobody said anything after that and I took it to my room. Later my mom came and apologized for him. But said that I shouldn't have said anything in front of my sisters and was rude. Because I was being, financially abusing, with my family. So I DK? Comment by Snoo Foxes 4362. Also. He called op, son. Comment by the Deadly Panda Gamer. Not the antagonist. He was rude to you in front of everyone and you gave it right back. If you are paying for everything, you need to move out. Comment by Future Block 3014. Not the antagonist. They're financially abusing you. Our next story is from Throwaway 53,400,943. Am I the antagonist for what I did when my friend's husband wanted us to have dinner alone together? I, female 31, was living in another country for 3 years. I kept in contact with few friends from college including Camilla, female 29. Camilla met and got married to her husband, Joe, male 35, while I was away. I came home a month ago and started hanging out with Camilla more than the other friends since we're close. However, I noticed Joe behaving strangely around me. Constantly complimenting my looks/outfits. And recently has been trying to get us to have time, alone, together. This gives me weird vibes but I didn't dare tell Camilla since they're newlyweds, 2 months. So what I did was, whenever he runs into me in the mall or the coffee shop, I'd instantly call Camilla and give her my location so she could come. He ran into me in the restaurant last night and sat at my table without even asking if it was okay. I let it slide. He started complimenting my outfit. And my nails. Then went on about how he's always wanted us to have, alone, time together so that we could get to know each other well. I smiled and immediately texted Camilla telling her husband was with me and asked her to join us for dinner. Joe kept asking me questions and smiling at me every 3 to 5 seconds till Camilla showed up. I saw her, waved and said, "Oh. What a coincidence. Camilla's here." Joe's smile faded and his face turned red. She said hi then sat next to him and he didn't say anything but stared at me angrily the whole time. They went home after dinner and I stayed longer. Once I got into my car, Joe called me and was annoyed saying I shouldn't have called Camilla when he already stated he wanted us to have dinner alone. He again said that I was being paranoid for no reason because he just wanted to get to know me better as Camilla's friend, but to be completely honest, I didn't buy into this excuse. He said that he didn't appreciate how sneaky and dismissive I was towards his wishes and that I hurt his feelings because of what I did. Am I the antagonist? Am I being unreasonable in not sitting alone with him? Comment by Arbor Arabique. Not the antagonist. That was epic. You were sneaky and dismissive of his wishes. Give me a break. You might want to talk with her about how he's behaving. Though. He sounds very creepy. Comment by Lilspark112. Not the antagonist. Also very suspicious that he just happens to run into you multiple times over. Unless you live in an extremely small town or on a college campus or something like that. These chance meetings aren't chance. Sounds like he's stalking you to corner you in these moments. If I were you, I'd be careful not to advertise my whereabouts on social or anywhere else he might have access. Comment by Reston and Pizza. Not the antagonist, and why not tell him you called Camilla? I'd do it every time right there. Hey Camilla, your husband somehow managed to be at the same restaurant/coffee shop/retail store I'm in. Again. You wanna join us? Just tell him. I do not want to have dinner with you and this is actually really creepy that you keep turning up whenever I'm alone. Let him get angry. He's acting really inappropriately and borderline dangerous. Our next story is from Injurdandalone. Am I the antagonist for being upset my wife didn't stay in the hospital with me? So I, 35 male, was in a motorcycle accident earlier this week. My wife, 35 female, has 3 kids from a previous marriage, 17 female. 10 male. 5 male, and we have a 1-year-old together. I had a collapsed lung and had a chest tube put in. A broken leg and arm and torn ligaments in my knee. I've been in the hospital since Monday. She came out the day of my accident and stayed until about 4 a.m. Was back that same morning but has gone home each night. Yesterday she only stayed until about 1 p.m. to prepare the house for the hurricane and didn't come at all today because the weather wasn't great and she said she didn't want to leave the kids. I told her I was upset that I basically went through everything alone. That I would have done anything to be with her. She told me she's been there as much as possible and it's not fair to dump all the kids on her daughter, especially since I'll need a lot of help when I get home and her daughter will need to help with the kids when she works. I told her marriage means through thick and thin and I feel abandoned. Now I'm getting one-word answers from her. Am I the antagonist for feeling like an afterthought? Comment by Dragon127765. Bro, she has to take care of 4 kids by herself. And is trying to visit you. Clearly she's trying her best and she's got a lot on her plate. Comment by LRDSWD. You are the antagonist. 4 kids and a hurricane? Plus you'll be coming home at some point and then she'll have to take care of your ass too. You are being cared for nursing professionals and you are safe. Your wife isn't a nurse. Please chill out and let her take care of business. You should probably increase your life insurance if you have a family and insist on riding a motorcycle. Comment by Consect Ariana. You are the antagonist. Your wife is currently trying to visit you. Take care of 4 children. And prep the house for a hurricane. And you're upset that she's not visiting you for long enough. While also caring for 4 children and preparing for a literal hurricane? Yeah. It's not ideal for you, but unless you've managed to perfect human cloning. She's doing all she can. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, smash the like button, and subscribe to our Devil. See you in the next one.